Good afternoon, I'm Karen Holmes Ward. For the second year, the state of Massachusetts is recognizing Negro Election Day. For more than 300 years, Black Massachusetts families have gathered on the third Saturday of July for what's been called the Black Picnic. But many people don't know the holiday or the history that's behind it. Joining us now is Doreen Wade. She's president and founder of Salem United Incorporated. Welcome, Doreen. How are you doing today? Good to see you.
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on.
So, Doreen, tell us, what is Negro Election Day, and explain the roots that began in towns on the North Shore.
I sure will. But one exciting thing that I have recently found out is it not only on the North Shore, but it was actually in the Boston Common in 1693. So its actual history is 35 years before the signing of the Declaration of Independence, enslaved Africans started the first democratic system in our country. And by doing that, they put together a system called Negro Election Day, which they actually voted for kings and governors to rule over their own communities.
That's very interesting. So it was a vote within the community, not for what we think of today as, you know, mayor, governor, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, actually, they did serve. They would serve as if they were a Black governor or a Black king. So they would rule. They would be judges, sheriffs, governors, anything that meant ruling over their own people.
Okay, very good. So why did Salem United choose to use the original name of Negro when preserving the history of Negro Election Day instead of, you know, Black Picnic?
Well, first off, Negro Election Day, the name Negro is actually back from 1555 in Africa, which it means Black. It really does mean Black. The word was changed in this country when slavery happened to a negative connotation. But we're trying to take back our history and show that it is not negative. It's from a place in Africa called Negro land, where many of these enslaved Africans were taken from.
So talk more about how it became an annual summer parade and a picnic.
Well, the parade actually is its very beginning origin. It actually was part of the ancient and honorary auxiliary company. These Black kings and governors would march with these men on election day. At some point, it separated and became its own Negro Election Day. So basically, we do the parade. The parade is to welcome, the history of the parade is to welcome Black kings and Black governors to their court and to their community. So we maintained that parade. And then the second part was the festival is the Coronation. So it's had many name changes over the years, symbolizing what we were at that particular time. So at one time, the churches took it over. At one time, maids took it over. At one time, we were called colored people. So they called it the Colored People's Picnic. But we took away the name picnic because we want to signify what the actual history means and what it stands for. And it's also relevant to today because as we see, there are many parts of voter suppression going on today. So we're trying to teach young people and even older people the significance of the vote.
All right, and the event wasn't always held in Salem. It was moved around. Why was it moved?
It was actually in Saugus first, on the Saugus River by a man named Black King Pompey, one of the first Black kings or governors in the North Shore. And as I said, it was also celebrated on the Boston Common until 1831. It's been in Marblehead with Black King Joe. It's been in Danvers. It moved to Salem, I would say, in 1790. And it was also practiced during World War II in a prison called Great called a Dartmoor prison. And they used Negro Election Day to protect the prisoners that were in the prison.
Now, how did Negro Election Day become an event that you felt the need to advocate for? I know you have dedicated so much of your time to this. What does it mean to you personally?
Well, for many years, my mom, I even have a picture of my mom pregnant with me going to Salem Willows. And I asked her, what is this about? And she always taught me that, it was just a tradition that Black families throughout Massachusetts did. They also did it in Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. But for me, it was the last remaining celebration, but I still didn't know what it was. So after almost 8 years, maybe 9, of researching it, I found out what its history was. So my ancestry goes back to 1600 right here in Massachusetts. So my family has always been a part of it over generations and generations. So that's why it means something to me, because I want to leave a legacy for young people
Doreen,
today.
I have to say, in large part to your efforts, Governor Baker officially recognized Negro Election Day in 2022. Why is the state recognition of Negro Election Day taking so long?
Why did it take so long?
Sure.
Because nobody wants the history of slavery constantly as a reminder. And with this history, it is still a reminder that people were enslaved. We were intelligent, but we were still enslaved. So it took a lot for Governor Baker to actually sign that bill and pass it into law. I went through an awful lot of verifying and different things, but he finally did do it, and I'm glad that he did it.
Well,
I'd
Doreen,
like to see
thank you for your diligence and perseverance in this, and thank you for joining us again to tell us about Negro Election Day. Everybody, this year the official celebration is happening this Saturday. The parade begins at noon on Concord Street in Salem and ends at Willows Park. It's followed by a flag raising at 1:30, live performances, and a family festival.